All right, we are rolling. Sue, I'm kind of excited.
I know.
I've been talking about this one since we saw the guest list. Kevin Conroy. Dude, so excited to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everybody's talked about this already, so I'm going to go completely different. You were in a little show called Tour of Duty.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was Captain Wallace.
You were. I loved that show.
Wasn't it great?
I loved it. At that point, there had never been a show on television that tried to encapsulate what the Vietnam War was.
I know.
And you were on it for, what, like 13 episodes, I think.
It was half the first season, yeah.
So
the amazing thing about working on a show like that is how it affects the audience.
Yes.
That was the first time the Vietnam War had been depicted on TV. And we got so many vets. You know, they were treated horribly.
Oh my God.
Horribly when they came back. And it was sort of a validation for so many of them.
Oh my God.
So I did appearances. There's a group called the VVA, the Vietnam Veterans of America, and they have chapters all around the country. And I would go and do appearances, and they would use the appearances as sort of rap sessions for a lot of the vets who would come in, and the stories you would hear would break your heart of what happened to them after they came home. And to have this validation now, to have this chance to get out. I love when actors can affect people that directly.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? It makes your work so gratifying. You know, it gives it such a validity. And that show particularly did that.
It really did.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I was really young. That was 87. That was.
I know.
87.
Like 15. I think it was 15 or so.
Yeah,
I was just getting.
I was 15
into,
too.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously. I was literally just getting into like learning all about this war that I'd never heard of. Nobody talked about. And because of this show, I got into I was reading books, and not to detract from the event, but I got into all the music.
Sure.
Because the music.
But you know what's ironic is because I grew up during the Vietnam War, and I was kind of a junkie on politics as a kid. When we did that show, they cast it. You know, Vietnam was one of the youngest wars the States has ever fought. The average age, I think, was 19. Mm-hmm. The average age in World War II was something like 23. I mean, there was a big difference between 19 and 23. So these kids were, you know, they were kids. And so to portray it accurately, they cast kids. Most of the actors had never acted before who were in that show.
Okay.
A lot of them had never acted before.
And yet most of them
or had done very little. And they were really young. So they didn't know anything about Vietnam. They had all been born after it.
Right.
And I was 30 at that point and playing Captain Wallace. Yeah.
Ish.
30-ish. And so I was like teaching them the difference between VC and NVA and RVN, and they were like, what's all this mean? I said, oh, there were all these different factions, and you know, who's in, who's out, who's up, who's down. It was such a complicated war. And then you try to explain, you know, what we were doing there, why we were there, and then in hindsight, finding out that McNamara knew that there was no point to it all. I mean, it's just infuriating. But it was interesting because these guys were so young. I was kind of like, you know, the old man on the set teaching them, giving them history lessons.
Kind of ties in with your role, though, as well, being the captain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was very good for the role.
Which is wicked. And, you know, I would be remiss, of course, because we're at a Fan Expo, to shift a little bit from Tour of Duty, which was still amazing, and on DVD, I believe, now.
Yes, it is. It's got a big following in Europe. It's got a big following.
I need to track them down, because like I said, I've got all the music. Now I need to track down the series and just watch it all again. But I have literally just finished, within the past week, rewatching all of the animated series of Batman. And dude,
doesn't it look new when you watch it now?
Gorgeous.
It looks like it was just done.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
I know.
I love it.
They doubled the budget on half-hour animation when they did that show. They spent twice as much as had previously been spent. The people at the other studios thought they were crazy to spend that kind of money, but they look at it. It was a full symphony score.
I know.
It was
Shirley
all
Walker.
hand-painted. Shirley Walker, all hand-painted cells, a big cast.
Right? Andrea Romano? Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's got to be like one of the most talented voice directors.
Well, she's it. She's the go-to director. So everything about it was just the A-Team. So for me to have that be the first job, animated job I walked in on, can you imagine? I didn't even know though. But when you do it, when you step into something like that, you don't know you are.
Yeah, of course
You just
not.
think, oh, they want to book me? Okay, great, I'll be there
All right, I'll do
tomorrow.
this, yeah.
Great, I got a job.
I got a job, yippee. And I didn't know it was going to last more than,
Right.
a season.
And now here you are.
25 years later, and I'm still doing it.
Yep.
You're still like the definitive voice for Batman. Not to detract
I know,
from Adam
I
West
just wanna
or
stand
Keaton
here and listen to you
or-
talk all day.
Yeah, I'm like, we were debating, like, do we ask him to do the entire interview as Bruce Wayne? Could we do that? I don't know. But it's just, I love it. You've got such an amazing diversity in your work. And even in Batman, you can hear the diversity and the emotion of the character.
Thank you so
from what
much.
you do. And
I really
just
go
love
for that. I really
you're
go
still
for that.
doing that. I love that. I mean, you are Batman. I mean, look, I'm just going to close my eyes, and if he says anything, go ahead, say anything.
Get in the bed, Kate.
See? Oh my God. Chills. Kevin, I've been looking forward to this all week, so thank you very much for coming in.
It's so nice meeting you.
Oh,
Take
huge
care.
pleasure.
Take care. Good luck.
Before you run off, we like to do our goofy selfies.
Sure.
Because everybody else does like a normal selfie. We just do a goofy selfie. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. Do you know? Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Kevin, thank you. So glad, so happy to talk to you. That was amazing.
It's quite